dozen times at least that you've ripped up the agreement and that makes an election more likely. But you've been asked several times and you won't answer. Do you have confidence in the Trudeau government as they stand now?
Here we go. We got Jagmeet Singh, a.k.a. Jimmy Dollywall. That's his real name. Jerking us around, the Canadian public, jerking us around. We want an election. Are we going to get it?
Spoke there about the Liberals being weak. You also said that you're not sure when you would trigger election if that would happen. So how can you get Canadians to vote for you if you're seeing leniencies when it comes to not triggering the election, keeping a weak government in power?
We have ripped up the agreement with Justin Trudeau. The agreement is done. We've ripped it up. And we know that makes an election more likely. We're going to make a decision based on whatever votes come in front of us.
And you got a weak government over here. Nobody's happening with him. And you're telling us that an election is more likely. And you're going to listen to this. And he's going to keep on talking about how an election is more likely.
So, Brian Lilly with Toronto Sun, you've made it very clear that you don't have faith in the Liberal government to deliver for Canadians. So a simple question, hopefully a simple answer. Do you have confidence in the Trudeau government?
Well, we've ripped up the agreement with Justin Trudeau.
You just said that you ripped up the agreement. That's not enough.
That speaks for itself. I've ripped up the agreement, and I know that means an election is now more likely. We will look at every vote as it comes and make a decision as it comes. I'm not going to presuppose the outcome of a vote before it happens. We will look at each vote and make our decision as it comes.
Great. Fantastic. You know what? We're waiting here on tenterhooks with bated breath. We want an election. We want this guy out. Juggy D, can you please forget your pension and think about the Canadian people for a minute? Thanks so much for supporting Racist Angel, a comic book that I've been making with my daughter that challenges the norms of what you can say, what you can't say. RacistAngel.com. Really appreciate your time. Thank you for bringing us over $10,000. Support's actually phenomenal. Really heart-touching. Thank you so much.
But let us be very clear. I am absolutely aware that ripping up the agreement with Justin Trudeau means an election is more likely.
You've said about a dozen times at least that you've ripped up the agreement and that makes an election more likely. But you've been asked several times and you won't answer. Do you have confidence in the Trudeau government as they stand now?
I will be clear again. We have absolutely ripped up the agreement with Justin.
You're killing me. This guy is literally just jerking us around. He's jerking us around. Can we get an election, please?
Trudeau, and that means an election is more likely.
That's not clear.
And an election, whenever that election comes, we'll be ready to fight it. And the vision around that election is going to be an important one. Canadians will have to make a choice.
But can we get an answer?
Corporate-controlled conservatives, they're going to let their corporate buddies rip you off even more. New Democrats are going to save you money on your rent and your groceries. That's a choice that Canadians will have to make.
Can we get an answer, bro? Make sure you subscribe to my newsletter at rowuncensored.com, just in case. You never know with all the platforms these days. And you can follow me on X at @rowuncensored. Thank you so much. Highly appreciate you being here.
You get an answer?
I will look at any vote that comes before us and we will make a decision in the best interest of Canadians, as any minority government normally operates.
Mr. Singh, Laura Stone, Globe and Mail. I think a lot of Canadians watching this right now might be a bit baffled by the political posturing that's going on. You've propped up the government for 2 years. Now all of a sudden they're terrible because of some vague notion of corporate greed, and you're refusing to say whether you'll bring down the government at the first opportunity. What is the point of all this, sir?
But let us be clear, this absolutely means an election is more likely.
I'm telling you, this is why cannabis is illegal in Canada, because you're going to have to self-medicate to get through this.
And that election is going to be about an important choice.
There's no way you're going to cause a federal election this fall, not a chance, because BC New Democrats would be furious. So, as I say, two things. Two premiers and leaders out there, they don't want a federal election. Neither does the senior member of your caucus. You're going to vote to support every single government bit of legislation, in my view, this fall. Correct?
Like I said before, we've ripped up the agreement with Justin Trudeau. And because we ripped up the agreement, we know very well that means that a question of an election is more likely.
I don't know what to do anymore. All I know is this guy supports political change through violent means. And I've got a video on that. Here's a little clip.
Revolutionary they were to come up with these ideas. They're very, I say, they're gangster ideas, right? They were ultimate revolutionaries.
It is about sick spaces and sick institutions. And it endorses violence as a legitimate form of resistance and survival.
Jagmeet Singh, born Jimmy Dhaliwal, is no stranger to extremist ideology. In February 2016, Mr. Jagmeet Singh was a featured speaker at the National Sikh Youth Federation, NSYF, in Southall, London, UK. This organization's leader, Mr. Shamsher Singh, has made statements regarding the use of violent means to achieve their aims.
Armed struggle is the only way. Investing in armed struggle and destabilizing in India.
Yes, violent means to achieve their aims. The ends justify their means. In this world, it gets harder and harder every day. You get called names. Discussion gets shut down. That's where we're at today. I felt I got to do something, and I'm a comic book creator, so I said, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to put together a comic book that's going to put a little bit of parody into this. It's going to make fun of all the rules. It's going to make fun of people who seek to shut down. My daughter, Galaxia, loves art. She loves illustrating, coloring, lettering. She loves comic books, especially the Japanese stuff, the manga. So I said to her, babe, let's put together a comic book. How do we hit him? Sometimes I think the best way to do that is through parody, making fun of them. Alexis, she gets kicked out of heaven, gets to Earth and realizes there's absolutely no freedom here. She gets called a racist, and she's an angel. The racist angel doesn't understand the rules. She had her wings, she doesn't anymore. Help her get them back.